we're about to get on the ICW, leaving Norfolk now. Thought it would be pretty fun to do like a video diary of a couple days that it takes us. Spend a day and a night in Portsmouth, went over to Norfolk, saw a movie, went to the grocery store, normal kind of stuff. So here we are, going down the ICW. There's one bridge we have to call to open before the Dismal Swamp. That's the route we're going to take, the Dismal Swamp. And then we're going to try to time the lock opening. The next lock opening is at 11, which is a couple hours from now, and it'll take us a couple hours to get down there. Norfolk is a crazy place. We've never seen traffic like this before. There's boats everywhere, Navy boats everywhere, submarines going up and down the channel. You have to keep 500 yards from. Behind me is a huge shipyard where battleships are being built. And there's tons of traffic, barges, freighters that go a lot faster than we can go. It's a bit of a crazy place, but a cool town. And I guess you have to stop here if you're going down through the ICW or the Dismal Swamp. I could have spent one more day here, but the clock's a ticking, hurricane season's coming, and we are trying to get south. That'll be Bosco 2. One of the things going down the ICW is famous for is all the bridges. I think this one's the South something Norfolk Bridge. Lots of cool ships all over. There's a carrier right there. Not too much traffic right now. We got another sailboat over there going south. Here is Glimmerton Bridge. It is a bridge that opens on demand. We just talked to the bridge tender, and there's a little bit of traffic that he's gonna let clear and then let us through. Glimmerton Bridge, this is Bosco. We are all clear. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Roger. Here is High Rise Bridge. It is 65 feet high. We are 43.5 feet is our mast height, and with antenna and wind instruments at the top. So we're a smidge over 45 feet, but this is the smallest bridge we've gone under so far. I can't read that sign, but if we kept going straight, we'd be on the ICW, and a turn to starboard or right is the start of the Dismal Swamp, which is the way we're going. You excited to be on the Dismal Swamp finally, baby?
Yes. Very excited.
After 3 days of deep planning. And now enjoy the sights and sounds of the Dismal Swamp.
There is our first lock straight ahead.
Deep Creek Lock.
Deep Creek Lock. We are currently about 40 minutes early for the lock, so we decided to drop an anchor and hang out in the peace and quiet, beautiful, serene, almost North Carolina. Comes the water. Can you see it? Coming in.
If you roll your tongue, you get a triple. Right? You put her hand deeper into the shell, you're gonna break the nose down, right?
Oh.
Put it together.
Bridge. Look at that.
So we're in the Dismal Swamp motoring about 5.5 knots. We were going a little bit slower because it's so pretty, but then we've got attacked by flies, these little biting flies, so we sped up to 5.5 knots in hopes of getting through faster, but it is really pretty. So Jill and I always like to do a little cheer when we go from state to state. It's something we've done for years and years. She's hiding down below, so we're going to do it remotely. Husband to wife, husband to wife. We are coming up on North Carolina in about 10 seconds over. About 5 seconds. Get your woo ready. Okay, go. Finally in North Carolina. We still have a long way to go, but we are here, and we got about another hour and a half at the visitor center. We're going to tie up for the night, so we'll check back then. So the Dismal Swamp is super pretty, but after a couple hours it gets a little boring, but you can't let it get boring because you're always watching for trees that could snag the mast or floating logs. You're always watching your depth, always looking at the charts to see where you are. So it's kind of a lot of work and it's kind of wearing us out. We meant to stop at the visitor center, but the dock was a little crowded, and I guess a lot of people rafted up there, but there was no one in the boats. One boat looked abandoned, and then there was one huge power boat with only kids swarming all over the place. So we decided to push down to South Mills, which is about 3 more miles, and right next to the lock, and we'll plan to do that tomorrow morning. So we got a couple more miles, then we're going to stop for the night. Good morning, start of day 2. We are South Mills, North Carolina, about to head south through Elizabeth and then a little bit farther probably. We're gonna try and make it a pretty long day.
45 miles.
45 miles is the plan today. We'll see how that goes. It depends how tired we get. So we're starting the day with a really good breakfast. So we will see you guys later. This is the Albermarle-Chesapeake Railroad Bridge. It was a little tricky to see if it was open or not from the back, but it is open. So you have this, and then one bridge that is an open on demand a couple miles farther up, and we will almost be done with the Dismal Swamp. We really like the southern half a little bit more. It's a little wider, seems to be less bugs, but it's been a beautiful trip so far. Elizabeth City Bridge, this is Bosco over. We are a southbound sailing vessel. We'll be here bridge in about 5 minutes, and hoping that you'll open it up for us, over. When you get it out, I'll open. Roger that. We will see you shortly. Bosco is standing by on 1-3. You're good. Welcome to Elizabeth City. This is supposed to be a pretty cool place to stop. We're trying to get some miles today, so we're not going to stop here, but it's a cool little town. There's 2 free docks, one that we just passed, and then another one somewhere up here. Looks like a pretty cute, small little town. There's Main Street right down there. And we're gonna keep trucking to the Alligator River. Alligator River. The wind waves have picked up a bit. So we're gonna kind of find an anchorage in the northern half. It may be a little too exposed to the weather we're getting from the south, so we might go a little farther up. But we'll see. We are tired. Almost done 50 miles today. And we are beat. You can never tell how much you're rocking on camera. We're rolling, rocking and rolling. Good morning. Woke up this morning and turned on the light, and there were a million little bugs inside the cabin. They made their way through all of our screens. I guess we're in a swamp, but it was a little crazy. So my tactic ended up being putting a light outside of the companionway and then vacuuming them up. Worked pretty good. I don't even know what they are. They're not mosquitoes, they don't bite. I tried a citronella candle, they're not afraid of that. But it kind of sucks, and it was a big mess. And they didn't make it to the V-berth where Jill was sleeping, so that's good news. Alright, we have had quite the morning. So we woke up to 80 million mosquitoes. We now know that they're mosquitoes. Mosquitoes that are immune to citronella. They were everywhere and swarming. So we decided the only way to get rid of them was to start motoring. So we pulled up the anchor, put down the bimini, got a little air through the cockpit, tried to flush them out. That didn't work either. So we happened to have some bug spray on board, and we sprayed that everywhere. We ended up with about 1 million dead mosquitoes in the cockpit. So we finally got them off the boat. We had about 3 to 4 boat waves against us. At full power, we were only going 3 knots. And we kept going because when we knew we got to the canal part of the Alligator River farther south, that would be in a very protected area. And we totally are. There's not much wind back here. There's not much wave action. In fact, the water's flat. The weather looks pretty crappy though. It's going to start pouring any second. Not sure how well you can see. Dead bugs, dead bugs, dead bugs. Alright, that's the cruising life for you. Dead bugs, dirty, haven't had a shower in days. Really hot, except right now. It's the first time we have felt cool weather in about 2 months. TCB, baby, taking care of business. At least you got to see them. So it's kind of amazing. So it's about like maybe 13 to 15 feet for miles and miles.
Yeah.
It's amazing they've come this far up. I guess there's food. So we noticed we had a little bit of smoke coming out the back of the boat. White smoke. So we busted out our Nigel Calder diesel mechanic book, and the white smoke doesn't smell like diesel. So it was either air, like a compression issue, or water in the fuel. So we stopped and dropped an anchor in the middle of this tiny river that we're in. Shut the engine down, pulled out the air filter. It was totally disintegrated. So we had an extra, put the spare one in. We didn't expect that to fix the problem, but we thought, oh, I pulled it out, might as well put the new one in. And then our engine had a hard time starting up again. So we probably have a bad starter. We have some sort of compression fuel burning issue. We have a ton of leaking oil. A ton of electrical stuff is broken. And we have about 50 miles to Oriental. Motoring down the ICW is very pretty, but it's also pretty boring. Our white smoke stopped, so our new theory is that we had those big seas this morning and we got some water backwashed into the exhaust system. So we'll talk to a mechanic about that theory and maybe we'll modify our exhaust system so it no longer lets water up inside of it. Spent the night in Belhaven, North Carolina, about 40 miles away from Oriental. We thought about hanging out there for a day because there's supposed to be some cool stuff, but we're getting a little antsy, so we are headed out. Our engine didn't really had a hard time starting this morning, but it started for Jill, so maybe it just needed a woman's touch. But we're excited to get there. Found this little place, AO Marina or AO Dock, that's about a halfway point between Belhaven and Oriental, and it's where shrimping boats come to unload. So we're gonna stop for the day and the night, load up on some shrimp, get some fresh fish, and eat like kings for the next day, and then we'll plan to head to Oriental tomorrow. We are Hoboken, North Carolina. We found this little spot. They sell fresh shrimp and scallops and shrimp. So we stopped, got some scallops, got some shrimp. Jill's making a shrimp pad thai for lunch. And we're gonna stay here for the night. 40 cents a foot. Way cheaper than anywhere we've ever found. We don't stay at too many marinas, but 40 cents a foot is really cheap and we get 30 amp power. This is what Jilly whipped up for us from that shrimp we just got. Shrimp pad thai. Look how big it is. That's what she said. Might be our last cruising day. We're about 15 miles from Oriental. We're not sure whether we're going to get into the marina or not. Depends on whether we get there at high tide or low tide. We have to go under a bridge. It's going to be a little tight fit. But hopefully we'll be there really soon. And we'll see you guys then. Pretty much running low on everything at this point, but that was all the plan. It's silly to arrive in a port you're going to stay for a while, all full of food and fuel and gasoline. Bum-ba-da-da, ladies and gentlemen, I present you Oriental, North Carolina. We're running on fumes for diesel, and we may or may not be able to get under the bridge right away. It's 45 feet, and with our VHF antenna, we're 45 and 11 inches. So we'll see. If it's a little too short, we'll just stay at the city dock for a day or two until we can get underneath.
A couple hours, you mean?
Just as a couple hours. We'll see. Alright, I got ties for myself. I need to tie into this.
Yeah.